Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Devils lose again. Fault. Right coming out of the break, Winter Olympic break, in which the team came in with a lot of momentum from Jack Hughes, obviously scoring the golden goal for Team USA. Big, nice little pregame ceremony for the team today, and yet they lay a dud. They lay a complete dud. They look like exactly the same team that left before the Milan winter break, or the Milan Olympic break and everything like that. They look exactly the same. Sheldon Keefe promised that there would be a lot of wholesale changes and some tweaks to the system, some tweaks to everything, but everything looks exactly the same. The Devils have lost their standards. This is not an organization. Like if this was a serious organization, they would Sheldon Keefe would not be coaching another game, and that decision probably would have came after, again, like the 9-0 loss to the Islanders several months ago. Tom Fitzgerald, I mean, forget about it. I mean, we already know the story there, and how he should not be the one managing this team. But I guess 8 days to go till the trade deadline. You got to have somebody in and running the ship there. Should it be Fitzgerald? Probably not, but it's neither here nor there. But I can't talk about any of that until I know that we are live. So somebody let me know in the comment section below if we are live, and we will get underway here. We're not going to probably from here on out. This is just going to be an agenda-free program. You guys set the agenda. We talk about that. We're not even. There's no point in even going over game notes anymore unless something like crazy happens, unless like a line brawl happens or something like that, which we'll probably break that down. I mean, that's kind of what happened in the the 23-24 season, where the Rangers line brawl happened, and that was like the only excitement that came our way towards the end there. But yeah, what's the point in me talking about the Tage Thompson goal tonight, and how he looked like the only Olympian out there that had some heart out there. You know, why would we talk about the bad Jack turnover that led to that goal? Why would we talk about any of this? Why would we even break down the Timo goal? I mean, I guess shout out Timo, whatever, he gets a goal. He hadn't been playing well up until the Olympic break, played well at the Olympics, but was playing on the right wing. Comes back here, is back on the left wing. It's deployed, in seemingly like not his comfortable side, even though he denies that. But look, there's no point in even going over any of the game notes here. It's just, this is a lost season. The Devils have 24 games to go. Their playoff chances, according to their playoff chances, according to Money Puck, are now down to 1.2, I believe, and that might get even lower as the results kind of shake out here, especially over the next couple of days here. The Devils will probably, I don't know if they'll be mathematically eliminated, but according to Money Puck, I would not be surprised if it goes down to 0. But again, I can't talk about any of that till I know that we're live. Okay, we are live. Awesome. Vent away, everybody. Vent away. I mean, look, I have some thoughts about this game, but again, it more so goes into big picture stuff, right? And the big picture, I feel like, out of this one is that this feels like, more so than any, like, this feels like a Sheldon Keefe does not have any control over this team kind of game, right? This feels like the finishing was abysmal tonight. You saw how many breakaway opportunities were there that the Devils could not capitalize on. You got pressure, you got hemmed in your zone so many times, constantly. Forecheck, non-existent, not noticeable at all. No transition game, and again, I can't emphasize enough the finishing or lack thereof. Abysmal stuff, and that's been the case all season long. Sheldon Keefe said that this reminded him of a game that the Devils have pretty much faced all season long, and now it's after the Olympic break, it's coming into fruition once again. Devils lose and fall to 28-2 on the season. Not great at all. Yeah, and I mean, the other just I guess big picture takeaways here is that it's the Jack Hughes stuff. I mean, before the game, I mean, you got the great ceremony that I think that Jack kind of knocked out of the park with the speech and everything like that, getting emotional about talking when he's talking about Team USA, when he's talking about New Jersey, he brings Tage Thompson out. Nice little moment there. I thought, once again, I think he knocked out of the park at the post game too. He didn't know exactly how he'd handle that. He didn't quite handle the political questions. When he was asked about it in the following days after, didn't quite handle those as well as a lot of people would have liked. But I think tonight, I thought he handled it as well as he could have. So certainly, that was something notable. But again, the Devils lose again, and their season is all but over. So let's dive in to your comments and get those going. So we will start here with Michael Gabriel. You're good. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, if you got stuff. No, yeah, no, I am live, but it's okay. We love having a high-ranking member of the Devils organization here in the background. I love it. Of course, man. All right, we start here with Michael Gabriel. I don't know why this is orange. I think this is orange because I was tweaking with it for our new Mets show. Speaking of the Mets, which is starting with our reporter Max Goodman. I believe it's already launched, so go subscribe to a Mets fan. We started with Michael Gabriel, who says last year in December they played a back-to-back against Carolina, and ever since they lost the second leg of that. The second leg of that they have completely collapsed. Clearly, something happened in a bad way, and it's bad. Look, it's just bad in general. I mean, there's no positive. What is the positive takeaway about this season? The growth of Lenny Amenaho, great. Arseny Gritsuk, perfect. I'll take that. Those are two bright spots. Jack Hughes becoming an international superstar right before our very eyes. That, I guess you can say, all of these are positive things for the Devils. Everything else sucks. Everything. I mean, there is no question about it right now that this team, from top to bottom, is completely rotten. They need to go clean house, full on fire sale. Don't even know what, nobody should be. You want to throw him in there too. There's nobody should be safe, honestly, at this point. What's going on with my volume here? Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I mean, we've reached that territory. I mean, this Devils team had Stanley Cup aspirations. They, players, coaches, GMs, executives, they were talking about that at the first day of training camp, coming into the season with Stanley Cup aspirations, at least playoff aspirations, and you're not going to get that this year. The Devils season, if it didn't die in the games leading up to the Olympic break, it died today. You are not crawling out of this hole. You got to go something ridiculous, like, well, there's 24 games left. You got to go maybe 23 and 1 to wrap up the season. That's a ridiculously low their playoff odds are. Especially, I mean, you're losing to teams that you definitely should not be losing to. Chico Tazo 6'9", Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You know what? I was thinking about this too, Chico. Like, as Keith was speaking tonight, Keith had a line there where I just had deja vu, where I'm just thinking, we've heard this over and over and over again. And we're talking like the same stuff that he's just repeating now after games, the process, stuff like that, the finishing, like you're getting the chances, but the finishing isn't there. It's the same damn thing every single night. I mean, I don't know how we're even going to gut it out here at the last 24 games. I mean, again, we're going to have to get real creative with the stream. I mean, you guys are great and very active, and I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys get send some more super chats, continue to support local journalism. But look, we might have to change. We might have to add segments to this show. We might have to break it up into some more creative outlets to talk about the Devils, because this team is a lost cause. It was that, and then Keith also mentioned in his post game, he pretty much it felt like he was taking a shot at the team, right? Where he's talked about Tage Thompson. He's like, that's a guy. I gotta find the exact quote. I think somebody tweeted it out too, but I thought the same thing, and somebody mentioned that it sounded like that was. It sounded like that was Keith throwing someone under the bus, and I agreed. He said that Tage Thompson finishes, no questions asked. He's not lying, right? Like Tage Thompson finishes. The Devils don't finish. There's a lot of guys that don't finish. I mean, how many breakaways were there tonight? Was it Nico had a breakaway, didn't finish. Brad had a breakaway, didn't finish. So many guys, that's been the theme for them, where their finishing woes are just unbelievably bad. I understand that that's not Keith's fault, that they're not finishing. But at some point, the finger gets pointed at you because you're the guy that's running the ship here, right? Let's move on. Jay Snow makes a great point. Going from Olympic hockey back to this garbage is brutal. I was wondering, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, like we are going to have to go from this high flying, fun, exhilarating product back to Sheldon Keefe hockey, which, is supposed to be this two-way defensive stalwart style. And it just doesn't work, especially for this unit, which should be leaning into their skill, but doesn't. And that's the problem with the New Jersey Devils. Therein lies the problem, among a laundry list of other things, a scroll of other things, like the GM. Not. Let's face it, the GM being incompetent at his job. I'm not afraid to admit that. I think that Tom Fitzgerald is out to lunch in being a GM in this league. I don't think he can do it. I think he's ruined the New Jersey Devils. Jay Snow, once again, this team's a joke. We need to sell. I forget who was asking the question, and I'm not blaming them for asking the question, but it just I was listening tonight and I was like, my gosh, like it just felt like moral victory territory tonight. Like we're like again, I forget who did it, but somebody asked like a question where it was just like moral victory territory, and I was like, oh man, like if that's where we're at with this Devils team, I mean, you need to just like fire sale everybody, because it's a joke what this team has become. Again, I can't stress this enough. This was a team that had Stanley Cup aspirations entering the season, and now they've been whittled down to 28 and 2, 1.2% chance to make the playoffs for Money Puck, probably even lower on some other outlets there that track that kind of stuff. Tyler Seba, Fitz shouldn't even be able to fire Keefe. Fitz shouldn't be able to make any other moves for this franchise. We were talking about this too. Is Fitzgerald going to get the kind of guarantee that the Bruins that Bruins management got last year, right? Which I know this is a story where why am I blanking on it? Don Sweeney, GM of the Bruins, he was given permission to do a whole teardown, right? He was given permission to sell off assets like Brad Marchand, right? Brandon Carlo. I was talking about it tonight in the press box. Like Brandon Carlo, I know it's like we're comparing defensemen to centers and stuff like that, but you can always use a right shot defenseman. Brandon Carlo got the Bruins a protected first-round pick. That's probably going to be really good this year, and got them Fraser Minton, who's been an awesome prospect for them. You can't tell me that the number one need across the league, which is a need for center right now, you can't tell me that you can't get a first-round pick. I bet you can get a first-round pick, no exaggeration here, for Cody Glass. And if you can do that, sell. Desperate Tom Fitzgerald should be the one doing it. But, so it's a fine line that we play. Like, we have to wonder, like, do we want Fitzgerald? Like, you don't want Fitzgerald to be the one making the moves, because you don't want him to. That would imply that there would be some sort of, that would imply that there would be some sort of, assurance there with that. But that's right, baby. That would imply that there is some other high-ranking members of the Devils organization just walking by, Sam Kassan and Devsman passing by. So yeah, I mean that a Fitzgerald teardown would imply that there would be some sort of like insurance or assurance that he would be back next year. So I don't know that I want the Devils doing anything. And if they do something, maybe it should be an interim GM that goes and makes the move. I've always said, and I've said this for weeks, anything would be better than what you have right now. And that's because Tom Fitzgerald is no longer an advantage for this team. He is actually working against you. And that's a sad reality for this Devils team. We have a super chat. Boom, baby. We have a super chat. Into Anther sends $10. Thank you very much, Into Anther. And he says, funny how ownership turns up and we're visible on a night. A ton of eyes were going to be on Jack's return to action. Keefe and Fitz need to be gone. Wish they would sell the team. Look, I've said it a bunch of times on this show. I've talked about, whenever somebody asks me, oh, does ownership care? My first response is always, Blitzer's at every game. Blitzers are here all the time. Like, he's very active around the team, and I know for a fact that he's checking in all the time, and he's calling Tom Fitzgerald at obscure hours of the night. That's just, that's the reality. That said, the optics of it are bad. Like, I mean, your team is spiraling. It's a season that's circling the drain and only getting worse. You got a crucial trade deadline coming up where you got to probably start selling off some of these teams to get future assets, and yet, nothing has changed. Like, what's the big change that's happened for the Devils this year? They traded Palat, great. Give Fitzgerald credit for that, fine. But then you're making weird moves where it's like you're traded for Bukestad, and it's like, all right, like are we buying here? Like what are we doing, a soft buy? Are we doing a soft sell? Are we not selling at all? Something's got to give. Like, you need to give this team deserve. This core is too talented. I know the season seems lost. This core is too talented not to make some sort of major shakeup in order for things to fall into place, right? And maybe right now the team is just in full tank commander mode, and they want Sheldon Keefe to be the one that's leading. Want a um I don't know. I mean, it is a mystery to me right now. Well, because again, I've given ownership their credit. I've said that they're active and they're around and stuff like that. But at this point, with them doing nothing at all, I can't sit here and honestly tell you guys and be an honest reporter and say that I know for a fact 100% that ownership is fully invested here in this Devils team. So I understand the frustration for sure. Let's see. Just gonna. Okay, we're gonna go right here. Gleason 630 says, no disrespect, but I don't care at all about the cookie. Ooh, look at that. They're shutting the lights off. I actually think this looks better. No disrespect, but I don't care at all about the cookie after the first year of it. I'm not that easily amused. I barely care about the team at this point. Again, like, I'm not gonna bash the team for their marketing strategy. It's whatever. Like, it's a stupid cookie. It's a stupid whatever. It's just a dumb thing, right? Like, but it is a little lame, the fact that they're doing it 2 years in a row. But I digress. I'm not gonna bash the team. I think the marketing team does a really good job here. Tyler Seba, I was going to book a trip to New Jersey for next weekend's game versus the Wings. Glad I didn't waste my money on that. I guess you could see, like, is there still beef with them and the Wings, or is there going to be some? I mean, I know things got chippy earlier late last year. Like, maybe there will be some sort of fireworks in that regard. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you there, Tyler. I mean, this is it's a lost season. You shouldn't want to. I'm not going to tell people what to do with their money. That's not my directive here. But I'm a Devils fan. I'm certainly not going out of my way to come to a game anytime soon. That's just me. Let's see. We'll take a couple more here, and then we'll honestly just wrap it up. Like, let's be real. Oh my God, there's some hilarious comments in here that I just could not do that. Sorry, I'm just trying to see. Stephen Woj, my man Stephen Woj, who donated the artwork in the background, not in the background here, obviously. He did not paint the Prudential Center, but no, Stephen Woj donated the artwork in the back of my home studio, which you'll be seeing tomorrow when I'm finally back, because I was on a month-long vacation and it was very long. When they decide to make a change, do you clean house top to bottom? Is Sarge safe? I bet you he is. I think a lot of people are bullish on what Sergei Brily can do. He's done nothing but get promoted in his time with New Jersey. Obviously, has deep ties to the organization. I mean, again, all of this is just dependent on what the new coach comes in and does, right? Like, because a new coach might come in and say, F this, we're cleaning house. I don't care about your ties to the organization. We're cleaning house, and you're part of the, you're part of the downfall there. But, if someone honors legacy, and it's not even about honor to me. Like, with Sergei Brylin, it's not about honoring legacy. I think he's a very well respected dude across the league. Scoop him up right away. Jace, no, we're always pinning our zone, and we're one and done in the ozone. Yeah, and that's the problem too. Is like they're always hemmed in their zone. There's They're always pinned back there. Like, that's the one thing that's incredibly noticeable this day. I mean, there are like Sabres sequences tonight that just flat out look like power plays. I mean, that's been a big concern for the team this year. And the problem too is like that's what's supposed to be the specialty. The specialty is supposed to be the D zone play, and it's just not working. And then once you try to get out of it and break out of the D zone, the transition game is just not there. Then once you go to the O zone, there's no forecheck, there's no cycling. It's just bad brand of hockey. Like, and it's boring. It's completely boring, and it's nothing that like at some point like you just wonder like even at its pinnacle could this be a Stanley Cup brand of hockey, and I just don't think that's the case. All right, guys, we went 20 minutes tonight. We're going live again tomorrow, right after the game. So come in, come vent. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into us here on Speaking of the Devils. I'm glad to be back. I know that Devils fans might not necessarily be, happy to be back, but I sure am. And you know what? I'm glad that we could have these little group therapy sessions because I know it helps you, and it certainly helps me. So I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great day. I will talk to you. Oh, wait, no, sorry. We have a super chat. Sonic, would you trade this year's first rounder? No. Under no circumstances do you trade this year's first rounder. That is one of your most valuable assets because that's going to be like a top 5 pick at this point. Sonic, no, bad Sonic. Bad. You do not trade this first rounder. And if Tom Fitzgerald even suggests it, can him immediately. Probably should happen after the season anyway, but if he suggests doing that, no way. Unequivocally, no. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.